What is up, you guys? It's Dustin, and I am back with another video now. In this video, I want to discuss James Charles and his brand closing down, as well as Laura Lee and Manny MUA, because they have said something on a podcast that has people talking about the stability of their brand and possibly the future of their brands as well. So if you guys are here for that, stay tuned to this video. Okay, so I feel like the rise of the influencer brand kind of started with people like Jaclyn Hill, Jeffree Star, all of these different people back in the day that people were requesting to come out with their own brand, and eventually they did it. However, with the ebbs and flows of social media and things like that, some people were way more successful than others. Now, Laura Lee launched her brand, I think in maybe 2017. I could be wrong, 2016, 2017. And Manny MUA followed suit and did the same thing. Now, we all know that they allegedly got their contacts from Jeffree Star, and that's one big thing that people still to this day use in arguments against them. They probably would not have the connections that they have if it weren't for people like Jeffree Star, but I digress. But Laura Lee and Manny were asked about how much money their brand makes, and they said something that was kind of strange to me. It was a little bit off-putting, if you will.
Are you making good money from your brands?
Not really.
It's like its own revolving door now almost.
Yeah. Like it funds itself. You know what I mean? Like we sell product and then we're able to like make a little more and elevate a little more like inch by inch. But all the money we make, I don't really see any money from the brand because it all goes right back into the brand.
Same.
Do you make more money from being a creator?
100%.
Yes.
Wow.
100%.
Because we don't hear too much about Laura Lee Los Angeles anymore. We see occasionally Manny will do a drop with Lunar Beauty. I know that Manny was in Sephora at one point in time, but he's not anymore. And there's a lot that goes into being in Sephora, and you have to be successful to get there. So I'm not trying to downplay or shit on Manny at all by saying that he's no longer in Sephora. It's just, I just think that's indicative of what this guy Ryan Dubs said. Now, if you don't know who Ryan Dubs is, he's worked with the Kardashians. He's worked with a whole bunch of different people. I believe that he's actually friends with James Charles. Ooh. But if this guy knows anything, I think that he knows how to manage money. And he responded to what Manny and Laura had to say, and I agree with him. You guys check this out.
Are you making good money from your brands?
Not really.
It's like its own revolving door now almost.
Yeah.
This is a prime example of why influencer beauty brands will almost always fail. My credentials are A, I own a beauty brand that has done almost $10 million this year, and B, I've helped some of the biggest celebrities in the world build their own beauty brands, including Kylie Jenner. Also, don't get it twisted, that little blue check does not mean I'm an influencer. I am not an influencer, I'm an entrepreneur, and that's the difference here. Hearing these two influencers say that their beauty brands are not making money, or at least not enough money to be something significant for them, it's more just like going right back into the business and buying more product, is really jarring to hear, especially since the beauty industry is one of the highest profit margin industries in the world. There's absolutely nothing wrong with these creators and their brands. I'm sure the products are great, but the problem is definitely their teams. As somebody who's worked with some of the biggest beauty influencers in the entire world, I can tell you 1000% it's the team's fault. And also the fact that these people are not entrepreneurs, they are influencers. I'm not saying that you have to go to business school to run a business, but as somebody who did go to business school, I can see the difference in the way that I run my brands versus how they run their brands. I just saw a video where Patrick Star responded to some guy coming up to James Charles and saying, Patrick Star makes $8 million from his brand. What do you think about that? And Patrick responded and he's like, I don't make $8 million. Like, show me that $8 million. Patrick Boo, your brand is in every single Sephora. That's a dream for my brand. I hope to get there one day. But if you're not making $8 million net income, there is a serious issue with the way your business is being run. And again, working with these people in real life, I know it's the team, because guess what? The lawyer is a moron. The manager is a moron. The assistant is a moron. They're all morons. Okay, that's a little harsh. They're not morons, but the problem is they don't care about the business because they're not the owner, they're not the influencer, and they're just getting a paycheck. They won't negotiate with manufacturers. They don't know how. They won't negotiate with retailers. They don't know how. They won't focus on distribution. All they're going to do is help that influencer say, hey, make sure you post about this tonight because we're putting it up on the website. Again, there's nothing wrong with these influencers or their brands or their products. I'm sure it's all good. It's just really sad to see them getting taken advantage of in this industry by the people that are running their business for them when they should be doing it themselves.
Now, what this guy Ryan is saying, I completely agree with, because I don't think that influencers take the time to really fill out what they want their brand to be. I don't think that they do the proper research. I mean, look at James Charles with this whole painted thing. He's had like contaminants, he's had shipping issues, he's had all these different things that came up, and the alleged manufacturer of his products has had numerous lawsuits. lawsuits, allegedly. I don't think that James Charles really did his due diligence in really putting his best foot forward with his brand. Now, I can say with Manny and Laura, they have been successful this long. We don't hear about them much, but they are still in business, so that has to mean something. But honestly, with the way everything's going on in the world, I would not be surprised if in maybe the next year or two, a lot of these influencer brands are going to be shutting down. I called it with Morphe. I said that there was a bankruptcy coming with Morphe, and guess what? I was right. But you guys are going to have to let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on this down below. Do you still purchase Lunar Beauty? Do you still purchase Laura Lee Los Angeles? And let me know what your thoughts are about influencers that come out with their own brands. Do you think that they take the time to really absorb all the knowledge that they need to make these brands? So now we have to talk about James Charles. Now, you guys know that I have been talking about James Charles for a while now because I am just over the whole Predator paint haul.
Get ready with me for James Charles paint and launch party. James just came out with his brand. Get ready with me to go hang out with a predator. Joe, if you will. Why are we trying to bring back him and other alleged predators back? No.
I'm tired of seeing James Charles take his little Predator pills to people and say that his products were used on Beyonce and basically saying that Avril Lavigne endorses him. I'm sick of all that shit. You know, I would say all good things have to come to an end, but I don't really think that this is a good thing. It was a nuisance, if anything. But James Charles just announced that he is closing down Sisters Apparel. Now, am I wrong to think that this already happened? I have not seen anybody say that they're buying Sisters merch. I know that there's been a lot of drama with James Charles and this whole Sisters thing, especially with Ethan from H3H3 with that whole Teddy Fresh hoodie that James Charles allegedly stole from him, that whole design. Do you guys remember that? And I also remember when James Charles bought this house and he had like the whole basement turned into like the fulfillment center or whatever. I just want to know what brought James Charles to this. You guys check out this video.
Well, it's official. Sisters Apparel is shutting down. This video is very bittersweet for me to make, but it's been a long time coming. So
I'm sorry, you instantly lose points with me when you have a sad piano track in the background. That is the most cringe thing I think that I have ever fucking seen. This is right up there with I'm desperate for me.
So let's talk about it. I started Sisters Apparel back in 2017 when I was first starting to come up on social media. It was right after I started saying hi sisters in my videos, and I really wanted to get onto the merch train.
I'm sorry, but these old clips of James Charles and his like first face, no sir.
Every YouTuber had it, so I designed some super simple, just repeating hoodies with sisters on the back and some sweatpants as well, and could have never imagined how big this brand would ever get. What initially started off as simple black and white sweat sets eventually grew into an entire movement. There were millions of sisters all around the world that had different items in their closet because at the time, these hoodies represented expressing yourself.
I always feel like when James Charles does things like this, he has to inflate his ego some, like, oh, I can't believe that I would walk down the street and see these people wearing my hoodies. Like, girl, like, you don't have to say all that. Like, we don't need all that. Why couldn't you have just done a video like Jaclyn Hill and said, look, girl, I'm closing all my brands. I don't want to do this shit no more. I'm ready to just move along with Sister Cosmetics or Predator Paints or whatever you want to call it and call it a fucking day.
And loving yourself, and most importantly, acceptance, because anybody could be a sister. They really did create this sense of community. And for me, that was so special because that's why I started making content in the first place. I can't even begin to explain how cool it was to be able to walk down the street and see a random stranger on the other side of the road wearing a repeating hoodie.
We don't need this long, drawn-out explanation as to why you're no longer going to make these Sister Predator hoodies. We don't. Did you need that? As you're watching this video, was this something that you needed? Did you need to know this information from James? I didn't think so.
Or to scroll down on the tagged photos on the account and see so many beautiful faces from all around the world wearing sisters. And most importantly, the coolest part was going to meet and greets and meeting tens of thousands of people and looking out into a sea of rainbow hoodies. Like, I will forever be so grateful for that part of my career. But at the same time, I just don't feel connected to the brand anymore. A lot of people have noticed that I no longer say hi sisters in my videos anymore, and it's not because I don't love the people that are watching. I mean, you guys will always be my sisters, but I've just grown up a little bit.
I'm just going to say this. I think that this is actually probably James Charles trying to get away from the image that he's created for himself as the Predator, because we all know him for this, hey, sisters and all that different shit. He's trying to rebrand, because if you think about it, we had this whole article come out where he wanted to be uncanceled and we all declined. And now he's getting rid of Sisters Apparel and he doesn't say hi sisters anymore. This is a complete rebrand. This is a PR tactic. This is something that he's trying to do to probably maintain his image and try to get away from everything that he's created for himself. But you know, people like James Charles don't change, so.
I mean, we've literally grown up together on the internet, and as I've gotten older, I feel like some things just don't make as much sense anymore. And I wanted my content to reflect that. As fun as the sister slay, sister snatch, sister whatever vernacular was, it just started to feel a little bit immature.
No, what's immature, James, is you going into a live stream of a kid that is in high school asking for an age check. That's what's immature. You know what else is immature? You saying that you have the mentality of a 40-year-old while you're messaging 14-year-old boys. You know what? That's not even immature. That's just gross. James Charles, you are gross.
And as we're working on this brand, there's a lot of reasons why I haven't launched anything from Sisters in a while now, but the main reason being, it was a lot of work, and you guys know my heart has always been in makeup, so as I started working on Painted, that just started to take more and more priority, and I have put everything into that brand, and I really, really, really hope that that sense of community that we all once shared through Sisters Apparel can be reshared through Painted and other new chapters in my career that I'm working on. All that being said, the reason why we're making the video in the first place is because we recently found out that we still have some sister stock, no pun intended, sitting in the warehouse.
How do you just find out that you had these products just laying around? If you're a good business owner, going back to what Ryan Dubbs said, you would know everything that's going on with your business, and you don't. And you don't.
Maybe if you had a business that you were passionate about, then you would know what it takes to run a business, but you don't.
How do you just mysteriously find some sister hoodies that you want to liquidate? Girl, bye. Girl, bye. It's given Jaclyn Hill. It's given that she was probably having some wine one night and y'all were sitting down talking on the phone and she's like, James, you should do another sisters launch and sell it out and say that you're liquidating, that you're no longer going to be in business because it worked great for me. That's what it's giving. Also, why is it when James is talking about things that are like serious, because this is a serious matter, he's closing down a brand, why is he always so monotone and talking like this? This is your last and final chance to get your sister Predator hoodie to let people know that you support a predator. Why does he talk like this? Why is that a thing? Why do you do this? This is not ASMR.
It's been years now, but I still get DMs all the time asking, what happened to the brand? Can I buy hoodies? Can I buy sweats? Where are the robes? So this is your last ever chance to do so, because we decided to do a last and final goodbye sale this Friday. Everything has to go, and it'll be marked up to 50% off. So if you love your Sisters Apparel, this Friday is your last ever chance to get it before it's gone for good. It's gonna be an emotional day for me. It's very bittersweet, but on to new things. I love you all so much. Thank you for the support over the years. Bye, sisters.
I hate to sound like a broken record, but James, if you're going to try new things, try not messaging minors. Try not going into their live streams asking them for an age check like you're at the fucking counter at the Rite Aid and somebody's buying cigarettes. Stop doing that. If you want to try something new, go out to a park, meet friends, get off the internet. Go on Grindr, stop fucking with Tinder. Do that. Act like a grown man, a grown gay man, because that's what you are. You're a grown gay man, so you should do grown gay man things. Stop going into your inbox with all these people that follow you that are kids and talking to them. If you're going to try something new, try that. But you guys, let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on this down below. What do you think about James Charles shutting down Sisters Apparel? I'm honestly not surprised. I feel like everything with social media has an expiration, and maybe this is Sisters. But I really do think that James Charles is trying to rebrand and get away from the Hey Sisters thing. When that was such a big thing for him, why he'd want to get rid of that, I don't know. If it weren't for him just trying to change his image and the negative connotation that has been attached to his name and his brand. But if you guys made it this far in this video, leave me the palette emoji down below. You already know why. We talked about James Charles. But aside from that, I hope you all have an amazing day, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.